Okay.
I was an actor on the show called Balveer.
Okay.
Now, recently, you posted a tweet ki just say your favorite sitcom. So I wrote Office. So
Hmm.
one of my favorite sitcoms. और नीचे दो लोग के सब ट्वीट्स आए बालवीर बालवीर.
Hi, hello. Welcome to Vorish's podcast. My name is Keval Vora. Okay, I'm extremely nervous. The guest is Mighty Satyanshu Singh. He is a national award winner and he's a great writer, director, poet, and also an amazing teacher. You must be familiar with his work. Udan? He wrote all those poems in it. He also made a short film which won the national award, and he recently co-wrote and directed Chintu Kabute, a film produced by our favorite AIV. This podcast is extremely special to me because I got a chance to interview him. We talk about movies, shows, writing, direction, and everything about cinema. And if you're not a cinema geek like me, trust me, you'll still have a good time. I was extremely nervous doing this one, but I think the result is a good one. So, yeah, give it a listen. Cue music.
Okay. Okay, so I wanted to start out with this. You must have faced the anecdote. Drama is easy, and comedy is tougher than drama. Is it true or false?
Huh. Well, bad comedy is easy. Tough drama is difficult. Good drama is difficult. Bad
Well,
comedy
good
is
drama and good comedy. Now,
between drama and comedy. If I have to choose, see, I think it comes down to what you are naturally. I believe naturally I tend to write drama better than comedy.
hmm,
But then I'm pretty sure that there are some very close friends of mine who will struggle with drama and they would write comedy better. Um, See, there are the fundamental difference between, philosophically speaking, between drama and comedy is that dramatic heroes and dramatic journeys are heroic. So
hmm,
when you are writing a dramatic character, your protagonist has to be heroic. Heroic as in, that doesn't mean she cannot be flawed or
right.
that he has to be a superhuman, but just that she is a little somewhat a superhuman than us. For example, even if we look at, say, uh, Bhuvan in Lagan is obviously he's a superhuman, but
Hmm,
even if we look at Rohan in Udan,
right.
he for a 17-year-old he is pretty much a hero. He has a heroic quality because he's doing things which may not be easy for, like, I wouldn't have the guts to do those things when I was 17, you know, driving my father's car, escaping at night,
Breaking
things.
it down.
Yes, and actually, uh, challenging is, maybe if I went through that kind of a childhood, maybe I would. But again, I would say that it is still heroic rather than sympathy-inducing or pity-inducing, right?
Hmm,
But when it comes to comedy, we don't write heroic characters. We stick to flawed characters, and we celebrate the flaws in the characters, and the celebration of that flaw makes us laugh. Like when we look at Mr. Beans or when
hmm,
we look at Charlie Chaplin, it is their inability to do things, or it is their lack of heroic skills which makes us laugh, right?
right.
That is truer. Like in life, that is more true. We are more of a non-hero than a hero. You and I, we
Right, 100%.
yeah, right. We are more like Charlie Chaplin than Bhuvan, right?
Hmm,
The only thing is that we don't laugh at ourselves, but then Charlie Chaplin also did not laugh at himself. We are laughing at him, right? We are laughing, looking, observing him. So if there were an objective audience observing what we do in our everyday lives, we would appear stupid enough for that audience to make them laugh, right? So
exactly.
this is the biggest challenge with comedy. Comedy has to reflect life in a very strange manner. comedy has to mirror our own shortcomings in a way that we laugh at our shortcomings and we are able to look at our flaws in a more playful manner rather than a serious manner.
Serious one,
You know,
right?
so that is why writing
Mm,
comedy is tough, at least for me, because it has to be very true to life. We can't have heroic characters.
100%. You mentioned Lagan. You mentioned Lagan in all of your lectures, almost every time. Also now, so I had not seen Lagan, but now I can easily win an argument with a friend that why is Lagan good.
Have you seen the
I,
film now?
huh,
When did you see the
sorry,
film? When did you see Lagan?
I just saw after your lecture, the recent lectures which you gave us. I saw after that.
Okay.
It's a great movie again. But I wanted to ask, what makes Lagan a great movie?
Yeah, the problem with this question is that you are asking me why my mom is a great mom. I will, uh, but then Lagan with some objectivity, we can definitely. Uh, so see, Lagan has, in my opinion, it's a complete movie. It has a great story and it works great at an emotional level. Uh, you have just seen the film. I saw the film in June of 2001 when the film was
Right.
released, and I watched it with hundreds of people in a PVR in Delhi, and
Hmm.
none of us knew what is going to happen. So I actually can't forget that day when I was surrounded by hundreds of people and we were reacting to the film. Uh, the PVR had turned into a cricket stadium. People were shouting and clapping and standing up after every ball. It was like watching a cricket match in a stadium. So Lagan has that kind of an emotional impact, which is very well crafted, I believe. Um, Lagan has great performances, great songs. It's very well shot, very well edited. The sound is good. Everything is very good in the film.
Right.
What I really, what I really feel is special about Lagan is mainly in the context of the kind of films that we make. If you compare Lagan with the best of world cinema, it is at par with them. But
Right.
when you compare it with Hindi cinema, especially mainstream Hindi cinema,
Hmm.
suddenly Lagan becomes a miracle. It becomes a puzzle. Like, how did they do that? It becomes shooting for 6 months outside Bombay, shooting in conditions which were so hostile, climate wise, and
Hmm.
just basic comfort wise, and then investing that much money on a story which was ridiculous, to say the least, at least from
Yes.
the uh, you know and to do it with that conviction, to do it with that much of conviction and hard work, but also with such a solid understanding of the craft. Ultimately, Lagan for me is amazing because of how amazingly it teaches us. It's like a textbook. It teaches us about screenwriting, about film directing. I can take any scene from Lagan, and we can learn so much from it. Like, I continue to learn from it. So from being a solid entertainer to being an anomaly in a mediocre industry, Lagan
Right.
is essentially a textbook for me, which gives me new wisdoms every time I revisit it. So that's why I believe it's a great film. I believe
Great
if
film.
if we made a if we made a film like Godfather in India, if we made a film as good as Godfather in India, I would very proudly call it as my favorite film. But the problem is that we don't make such films. We hardly make good films. And good films, matlab us level ka good film.
No, no, I
Matlab,
understand what you're saying.
हाँ, हाँ.
But again, you mentioned this. Now, right now, at least understanding has come that we are not making amazing films as far as the other cinemas.
Yeah.
It has started thoda bahut because like a bit. But when do you think it'll genuinely start manufacturing good cinema?
It won't. It won't.
Why
When
would you
I
say
was
that?
your
Yeah.
age, when I was your age, I was extremely hopeful. When Lagan made it to the Oscars, it was a great historic moment for us because after close to 13 years, and
Hmm.
Hindi film and Indian film was at the Oscars, and I'd made this proud prediction that over the next 10 years we'll have 5 nominations and at least one win. The fact is we have it has been 18 years since Lagan, and we have not had a single film at the Oscars. Oscars are not the ultimate stage, but it does tell us something about what we are doing. There was a time around 2004 to 2007
Hmm.
when we had started making films which were very diverse, which had great storytelling. 2006 was the year when Rang De Basanti came. It was also
Right.
the year when Omkara came and Lage Raho Munna Bhai came. And
Right.
films like Khosla Ka Ghosla and Door. These are some 4 or 5 films in 2006, right? 2007 we had Chak De India, we had Tare Zameen Par. No Smoking
Hmm.
came in 2006. Black Friday came in 2007. Uh, Immediately after Lagan and Dil Chahta in 2001, we did see a landmark shift in the quality of films that we were making. So between
Hmm.
2001, 2007, and 8, we had some really amazing films in the mainstream, you know.
Hmm.
But after 2008, what happened? And I believe again, I mean, maybe it was Amir Khan. Amir Khan did Gajni, which was a action masala remake of a South Indian film,
Right.
and soon it became a trend. Within a year, Wanted came, and the very next year was Dabang, and suddenly with Wanted, Dabang, Gajni, and
And
Rowdy
then
Rathod,
Singham.
and Singham came. Yeah, Singham came later. Suddenly, what happened was that all the superstars wanted to do such films. Everyone wanted to do one film at least, which was over the top action, masala, romance, blockbuster, which is okay. But the only problem is that no one did it as good as the earlier films, like Gajni, the first Dabang. These films were fine.
Yes.
But then eventually, so I believe that over the last 10 to 12 years, um, it has really gone down, the quality of our mainstream cinema. See, our parallel cinema or our art house cinema has a great heritage. We
Hmm.
have a very proud heritage when it comes to our art house or parallel cinema.
Right.
Starting from the 40s, in fact, starting from Chetan Anand's Nicha Nagar, which won the Grand Prix at the first Cannes Film Festival in 1946.
Wow.
Since then, we have had a very good parallel cinema culture in our country, also in Hindi. Uh, but it is the mainstream that actually changes the cinema.
Escalates it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and when it comes to mainstream cinema, I believe we are. I don't believe we are going anywhere. When this was happening, when Chak De India and Khosla Ka Ghosla, when these films came, I felt like wow, the change is there.
Hmm.
But I have now let go of that belief. That change is like we are waiting for Godot. It will never come. You
Right.
know
So,
that
what do you
change will.
think of Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota and Gully Boy?
If you ask my personal opinion, I believe Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota is a great attempt. It's
Yeah,
a
it
great
was a
attempt.
one.
Yeah. I was not very happy with the film overall, but I believe it was a great attempt. It was almost like it was almost outrageous as an attempt, and I almost feel like it is impossible for many of us to see things the way the makers of that film,
Right.
the way
Exactly.
Vasan has looked at Mard Ko Dar Nahi Hota is really like it's uh,
It
extremely
was a cool
praiseworthy.
take.
Yeah, it's very cool and very refreshing and very gutsy. I believe that backing Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota does tell us something about RSVP as well. the production house that backed the film. However, uh, I believe that one such film won't do. We'll have to have 10 such films every year. We can't have
Yeah.
one film like Mard Ko Dard Nahi Hota and say that, okay, we are trying to push the envelope. Also, when it comes to Gully Boy, I believe it's a very good film. I believe very well done. But then the irony is that Gully Boy, despite being a very, very, very good film, I have some problems with a broad story of Gully Boy, because broadly the story is kind of predictable and not that original. That someone from an underprivileged background has talent and he has some problem with his father, and then he eventually manages to find himself. So the broad
But
story
to this,
itself,
but to this, I'd argue there are
Yeah.
many films like this. In fact, there are just so many biopics coming now. But biopics on the side matter. But I'm just saying many films which are predictable. But sometimes you watch it just for the journey,
yeah.
which
So
makes it better.
agree with you. I agree with you. Gully Boy, if I just let go of that, if I just let go of that, it was not really original from story point of view. Uh, it was archetypal in a kind of a, it's like, I would say that if I'm making a film where I have a rapper from the slums, uh, having a competition, the climax is like the first thought. Obviously there'll be a climax in the end, you know what?
Of
You know what I'm
course,
saying?
right.
So, but apart from that, I believe it's very well done. Like the screenplay and the dialogue is very well done. And after that, everything from direction point of view, it's really very well done. It's really extremely well done. Um, but the irony that I see here is that you have a film with Ranveer Singh and Alia Bhatt, right? Directed by Zoya Akhtar, which is an extremely well-made film. And look at the business it did. It did make money, but
But it did not. It did
it's
not blow up.
nowhere in comparison to other, for example,
Padmavat.
I mean, look at the top blockbusters of the last 5 years, and Gully Boy will not be in top 20.
100%. Right.
That is the problem. Even when we have a film like this, it did not do that well, unless this starts happening, and it starts happening consistently. Very good films doing very good business consistently, at least 10 films every year for 10 years, will not change. One film will not change us.
Okay. Well, that's another tangent to grow on. Like now, every producer must have, like, सबको भी करना पड़ेगा. Shakun Batra, Zoya Akhtar, Farhan Akhtar must have to come back. Everyone makes a good film, and then maybe something will change.
Yeah. अभी इस पे बहुत सारी बातें हैं, लेकिन इसको हम छोड़ देते हैं, क्योंकि ये अपने हाथ में नहीं है. पता है, ये स्टार सिस्टम और ये मार्केट, ये अपने हाथ में नहीं, अपने हाथ में है. We have to work on our craft and improve our craft.
Exactly.
देखो, केवल रियलिटी बताता हूँ मैं. अगर अभी मेरे पास 5 राइटर आते हैं, बोलते हैं कि मैंने ब्रिलियंट स्क्रिप्ट लिखी है, और मैं पढ़ता हूँ और स्क्रिप्ट सच में ब्रिलियंट है, और 5 फिल्म ब्रिलियंट है, मान लो, तो मेरी 5 फिल्में तैयार हैं अभी, अगला 7-8 साल में सॉर्टेड है. लेकिन ये होता नहीं है. ब्रिलियंट स्क्रिप्ट ऐसे नहीं मिलती है सड़क पे. ब्रिलियंट स्क्रिप्ट के लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ती है.
We were talking about this internal journey of a character in a movie. Could you stress on that?
Yaar, see, again, well, it's good to look at stories from the perspective of life. In life, we constantly go through internal change or an internal journey. Internal journey matlab, you are a certain kind of a human being. You believe in something, and then something happens, and that forces you to think and evolve and change and become a better version of yourself.
Right.
Okay. लाइफ में ऐसा होता है हमेशा. लाइफ में ऐसा हमेशा नहीं होता कि आप यूरोप ट्रिप पर अकेले निकल गए, या आपने एक अंग्रेजों को क्रिकेट मैच में हरा दिया, या आपको पता चला कि आप ऐसा नहीं होता ना कि
Hmm.
लाइफ में जो एक्सटर्नल जर्नीज जो फिल्मों में होती हैं वो तो
Right.
लाइफ में बहुत कम होती हैं, लाइफ इतनी
Right.
ड्रामेटिक नहीं ना, लेकिन इंटरनल जर्नी लाइफ में हमेशा होती है. ऑल ऑफ अस इम्प्रूव, ऑल ऑफ अस कम ऑफ एज, ऑल ऑफ अस इवॉल्व. सो when you are trying to tell a story which covers the internal journey of a character, the change that a character goes through internally,
Hmm.
novel is a great medium because you can write about what the character is thinking. You can write
Right.
about what the character is, the mental process of the character. But cinema is a visual medium, and if you start talking about what the character is thinking, then it becomes
It
very
gets.
indulgent and boring and
Hmm.
preachy, right? So as film writers, we are faced with this problem all the time, that we want to tell stories which are internal journeys, but our medium is not really suitable for the internal journey, right?
Hmm.
So you can look at it from two points of view. One is, suppose your story has an external journey.
Right.
For example, Kabir Khan in Chak De India is training a group of girls so that they win the World Cup, and Kabir Khan redeems his name, right?
Hmm.
He can feel proud again as an Indian, as a sports person. Now, this journey is an external journey because there is an external goal, which is winning the World Cup. There's an external definition of the journey, which is training, winning different matches, going to Australia, winning different matches, finally reaching the finals, winning in the final, So there's an external component of this journey, which is very powerful, which is the film, right? It's a sports film,
Right.
and we can see it. But there's also an internal component of the journey, which is what is going on in Kabir Khan's head. What is he thinking, right?
Hmm.
So even in a film which has a very strong external component, there can be a very strong internal component. You may need to dwell on the internal component to understand your characters, behavior, drama, the entire journey better.
Journey. Right.
In a film like Lagan or Chak De India, the external journey is all consuming. So the change of the character internally does not make too much of a sense. Say, when you watch, say, Avengers,
Right.
watch Avengers, your protagonists, they are not changing. They remain who they are, and they are bringing a change to the external world. So you can
100%.
have
Right.
movies where the external journey is all consuming, but
Hmm.
then you can have movies like the the Matrix, where the external journey is important, but there's also an internal journey, a very strong internal journey, right?
Hmm.
So you
Right.
have that. And then you have the third kind of movies where the external journey is almost insignificant. It is the internal journey which actually matters. Like, for example, Udan. In Udan, the internal journey that Rohan is going through is more important than anything else in the film. How an innocent boy who is threatened with abuse and with insensitivity and lack of love and lack of respect, how that person gathers the courage to pursue his dreams but also rescue his brother from abuse. This is
Right.
the story of the film actually is how Rohan becomes this bird that will fly, right?
Hmm.
So here we are talking about internal journeys. Say Piku in Piku has an external journey because the road trip is an external journey, but there's an internal journey as well. But in October, written by the same writer, directed by the same director, in October, you have a very strong internal journey of Varun Dhawan's character becoming a responsible person who has self-esteem.
Hmm.
So the internal component is very strong. So we need to focus on the internal journeys in all films. In some films, it will be insignificant, like say a Marvel adventure movie. In some
Right.
movies, it will be kind of important, like The Matrix or Piku. But in certain films like October or Udan, the internal journey will become the backbone of the film. And that is why figuring that out is really important.
And also, internal journey plays a major part in like if it's a creative movie or if it's a movie coming of age where someone is following their dreams, so it becomes a very major part that he's experiencing something and he can express it in poems or whatever he's doing. For example, in Seinfeld show, he's doing comedy through whatever he's experiencing in life.
Yeah. So now this is what we have to keep in mind. The external manifestation of the internal journey, because suppose it's internal journey, we need to have an external manifestation of it. Otherwise, how will we show that? So the external manifestation of the internal journey needs to be cinematic. If the external manifestation is voiceover or dialogue bazi or poem, then you're not using cinema as a medium. However, in a show it is okay to be verbose, because shows are more shows use spoken language more than cinema. So in a show it is still okay, but in a movie it's very, I would caution all the writers, you find an external manifestation of the internal journey. For example, 127 hours is an external manifestation of a very extreme cinematic kind. You know, and in fact, Inside Out is really interesting, because Inside Out is so the girl Riley is going through a change because she's growing up, and she's going through a change which all of us go through when we are about to reach our teenage or our adolescence. So Riley is going through a change which is very internal. And how have they made the internal external? By going inside her mind and taking the internal components of her mind, but giving them an external visual shape. So you have a shape for joy, you have a shape for sorrow,
sadness.
You have a shape for memories, you have a shape for short-term memories and long-term memories and core memories, and so they have taken these abstract concepts and they have created visual manifestations of those concepts. So what they're doing is they're telling the internal journey of a character, but using cinema, by finding an external manifestation of. So suppose you are telling the story of a confused boy who finds himself, and you make this boy a philosopher or a mathematician or a writer, you are not using cinema. But if you make this boy a dancer, then you are kind of using the medium better. And if you make this guy a martial artist, then you're using the cinema better. And if you make this guy an adrenaline junkie, this boy is an adventurer, but the story has an internal arc, then you're using the medium of cinema better. So that's very important for us to keep in mind.
That should be seen.
Yeah, an external visual manifestation of the internal journey is very important.
Right.
The story itself is supposed to reveal the human condition to us. That is the function of the story. The function of the story is to reveal humanity, to show light on who we are as human beings. Frankly, why are stories so widely consumed? For thousands of years, right? We have, as human beings, our love for stories is timeless, right? The reason behind it is that stories tell us who we are, good or bad, and stories tell us what we can be, good or bad. We can become Rohan from Udaan. We can be Rani from Queen. We can be Neo Anderson from The Matrix. We can be that, but we can also be Makbul from Makbul or Macbeth from Macbeth. Right? We can be Charles Foster Kane from Citizen Kane. We have this enormous possibility of becoming an extremely evolved version of ourselves, but we also have the possibility to be an extremely dark version of ourselves, an evil version of ourselves, right? So the function of stories is that to reveal who we are and to reveal what we can be. And that is why the story itself or the plot itself or the situation itself is the vehicle, is the medium to reveal the human whose story you are telling. And that is why work on the character is so important. Your character can be passive. Your character can be not driven. Only it won't really make for a compelling viewing. People will not watch the film. So if you're okay with making a film where the character is passive and people are not watching your film and your film is not doing well, or nobody funded your film was never made, then it is okay. देखो ये समझ लेना बहुत जरूरी है कि आपको चाहिए क्या. आपको अगर वैसे कैरेक्टर्स लिखने हैं जो ड्रिवन नहीं है, जो मोटिवेटेड नहीं है, आप लिखो, बट देन यू शुड नॉट होल्ड एनीवन रिस्पॉन्सिबल कि मुझे किसी ने पैसे नहीं दिए मेरी फिल्म बनाने के लिए, किसी एक्टर ने हाँ नहीं कहा इस रोल के लिए, right? If you want people to invest money, if you want people to do play, if you want actors to play those characters, then you will have to understand why people invest money in films, why actors take up, right? Makes sense, right?
Right. Yes, 100%.
And why, so from dramatically speaking, dramaturgically speaking, as far as the craft of drama is concerned, suppose you have a spider who is sitting in a corner, just sitting in a corner, not doing anything.
Yeah, not makes a good movie to watch.
Yeah, but there's another spider who tries to climb up the wall and falls, then tries again and falls, then tries again and then falls. The irony of the situation, the conflict of the situation, and often the comedy of the situation can be explored only if the character is trying.
Right.
For example, suppose I believe that I'm the most handsome person in India, suppose.
Right.
Now, this is a funny thought, right? I'm not the most handsome person in India, but suppose I believe that no one comes close, okay? I'm the most handsome guy. Now, if I have this belief and I'm sitting in my room, how do you show my belief to the audience? But if I dress up in a certain way, go out every day, try to impress girls, talk to people as if I am really handsome, if someone insults my looks, then I fight with them. Unless you see me doing this, how will you explore the comedy of my wrong assumption about myself? This wrong assumption about myself can be explored only if I'm active. That is why we have to make sure that characters are motivated, because comedy and drama both can be explored only if there is effort. If you don't rub your hands, how will you produce heat? So when you have active characters, you are actually rubbing two forces, the force of the character and the force of the conflict. They are rubbing with each other, and that is how comedy and drama is produced.
Now, so what about the characters which are confused in life, not sure where to go?
Yeah.
So उसमें क्या हो सकता है now? He's not completely active, he's not completely passive.
Yeah. So see, there are again two ways of looking at it. If a character is confused and not doing anything about it,
yeah, then that's a problem.
Yeah, but if a character is confused but is trying really hard to find himself, you can create a drama out of it. Someone trying to find himself but is confused. You can and is going through insults and going through humiliation and going through self-doubt. You can create a comedy out of it. Someone is confused and is trying to find himself and is at every moment he believes that now he has found himself, but again he goes back to his confusion. But if the guy stops trying, then how do you explore the drama or the comedy?
Right. No, this was not actually a podcast question. This was a personal question.
See, also remember that the audience will be interested in your story if they find your character to be attractive. And a confused guy is not attractive. A confused guy can be attractive to you only if that guy is you. Even you wouldn't be interested in a confused guy. Okay? So confused characters are not attractive. So you try to give them attractive traits. And attractive traits doesn't mean morally superior or morally great. Attractive traits means someone who is, say, determined or committed or motivated or active or driven. That is an attractive trait. To see someone as extremely driven and chasing something with a very strong sense of pursuit, that is an attractive trait, right? So
100%.
if you have a confused character, it's okay. But then what else are you giving me for me to be attracted to your character?
Now, I wanted to ask this. You said in one of your tweets, you said, I said Marriage Story was one of the films which you had to see the screenplay of. You liked it very much. Even I liked it very much. But you had to see the screenplay of. Why to look over the screenplay? Because see, my point of view, I thought it was a great film, but I kind of knew that some sequences very much were choreographed. And as seeing Noah Baumbach's previous work, it was similar. It was majorly talking, and through which we like good exposition and infodumps, which did not look like infodumps, but just having fun with the characters which are going on.
Yeah, I believe one thing which comes to my mind is that reading the screenplay of Marriage Story can teach us a lot about scene construction. When you are writing one scene, you have to focus on that scene. And that scene will have its own graph. It will have its own beginning, middle, end. It will have its own, it's like a battle. You know, a scene is like a battle. It should be like a battle because you have, say, two characters. They can't be agreeing in the scene because then there's no drama. So you should have people disagreeing in the scene, right? But here you have two people who have been disagreeing since the film started.
Right.
They are already separating, right? So the film is in a very interesting position. You don't have two people who are in love who have started fighting. You have two people who have kind of decided to end their fights by separating, right? So you are not fighting with them. They are not fighting in the film. They fight very late in the film.
Right.
You have that fight very late in the film, but you can feel the tension throughout the film, right? So when you have to write a scene where you have these two characters, you can see there is a lot of love, but you can also see that there is a lot of problems or conflict. How to write those scenes? How to structure the individual scenes in a manner that they work dramatically, emotionally. That scene construction is a craft which I feel Marriage Story can teach us. The second thing which I believe Marriage Story does is that, and does it very well, when we are creating our characters before we write the film, that is one part of our job. But when we are writing the film and through the film we are revealing the character to the audience, that revelation itself is an art. And I believe that when you reveal your character in a film like Marriage Story, you have to peel layers of your character like you're peeling off an onion. So you peel layers after layer, and slowly, with the story, with those scenes, you peel off the layers of the character to eventually reach the core of the character, to eventually reveal the core of the character. It is really, we can really learn a lot from Marriage Story if we only make note of how each page, from page one, how each page is telling us something new about these two characters, and how we are building the character as audience as we watch the film. That reveal is very well done, and maybe that is common to other films by Noah Baumbach as well. But then that doesn't make it
100%.
any less special because Noah Baumbach does it very well. He really he creates his characters very well, and then he reveals the characters in a manner that we can learn from. Most importantly, other films by Noah Baumbach, I like them as audience, but I don't see myself making those films. But Marriage Story is something that I would like to make. You know, so again, that is something that is again a reason why it interests me. The worst feedback that I've received is someone dismissing a script of mine and telling me, why are you making this film? Don't make this. That is the worst. That is because that feedback is so bad. You are basically, even if that script is a bad script, uh, you can tell that person that I see a lot of problems with the script. I believe that it will be tough to make the film. I believe it will be tough to appeal to the audience through your story. But telling that person that do not make this film, just throw it away. I think that is the worst piece of advice, because uh, unlike this advice, and perhaps that is the. So I'll tell you the best advice that I got. The best advice that I got from which I practice is from Vikramaditya Motwane. On the day I watched Udan, uh, the final film, the day I watched the final film in a preview, as soon as the movie ended, uh, I was overwhelmed by the film. I told Vikram Motwane how amazing it is, and he told me, write like a dog. Write like a dog. I think that is the best advice I have received, and I try to follow that. Not as much as I want to. I think I write like a puppy, not like a dog yet. But another great advice that I got, which I don't practice, is from Anurag Kashyap.
Okay.
I don't practice that because that is not me, but I think it's a great advice. He told me that don't be scared of making a bad film. It's okay to make a bad film, because when you make a bad film, you learn. So instead of trying to make a good film all the time, make whatever you want. Make good films, bad films, make whatever, because Steven Spielberg has made bad films.
But isn't at the
Martin
time when you feel this is my movie, you feel it's a good movie? Why would you invest on a bad movie? Of course, you don't hate a bad movie.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at it the other way. Like, I would not make a film unless I'm extremely confident that it is good.
Right.
So what Anurag Kashyap is saying is that don't wait for that absolute certainty.
Confidence.
If you have something in the film, if you believe that there is इस film में कुछ भी है, थोड़ा भी तुमको, if there is anything that is driving you. For example, I have written a film which I love, but I know it is bad. ये तो हो सकता है ना, that you have written something that you love, but it is bad. I would not make it. But Anurag Kashyap is saying that you should make it, because making a bad film is okay. And I think this is exact opposite of that bad advice, that do not make this film.
Right.
Why I'm making this film? So I believe now why I don't follow Anurag Kashyap's advice is that I'm a lazy person and I don't want to put in hard work doing something which is bad. Also because I believe that Anurag is a hustler. He has created a career and a space for himself, which is almost superhuman. And I don't know if others have that kind of a zeal or that kind of a that junoon to be able to do that. I believe if I make 2-3 bad films, and if people stop noticing me, if people stop paying attention to me, I think my career would end. Also, Anurag's bad film and my bad film will be different. No, like Anurag Kashyap's bad film will still have something, which my bad film will have nothing. So I believe that is why I don't follow the advice, but I think it's a great advice. And especially when it comes to learning the craft, when you're making short films, when you are making zero budget films, I think it's a great advice that you should make whatever that comes to your mind. Promotions require a lot of money. So if you make a film on the budget of say 10,000 rupees, suppose, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. To make a film, you write a kick-ass script. Suppose your friend is a mind-blowing actor, he's the next Irfan in making, and you are a great director, and you can make it is possible to make a great film out of 10,000 rupees. Logically, it's possible, okay, but it is impossible to take this to make sure that the film reaches theaters unless you have a few crores to spend. This is just reality. So if my film is say a 5 crore film, it will require about 5-6 crores minimum for promotions and for the print. So the budget of my film becomes 10 to 11 crores. So this is twice the budget. But if your film is 1 lakh, the budget is 1 lakh,
Hmm.
it would still require 5 to 6 crores, which means now the budget of your film has become 500 times,
Wow.
right? So just logically speaking, just look at the money involved. And why is it so? Because there are only 52 Fridays in a year. No one can change that. No one can change the fact that there are only 52 Fridays. And on every Friday, you can have only a selected number of films. You can't have 20 films releasing on every Friday, right? So you have limited number of release dates in every year, and you have limited number of theaters. You have extremely limited number of theaters in India. We looking at our population and looking at the geographical expanse of our country, especially if you are making a film which is not a mainstream film, which does not have stars, you do not have theaters which are dedicated to independent cinema or art house cinema or extremely entertaining film without an actor. There can be an extremely entertaining film without a star, but there is no market for that. There's no theater dedicated to such films. So in such a scenario, just logically speaking, don't you think it is way more difficult to release the film? Where would you take that film that you made for 10,000 rupees with a great actor and a great script? Where would you release it?
Yeah, of course, I understand your point. But then why not OTT? I understand some complications happened with you.
Yeah.
But why couldn't you do it like the Louis C.K. did? Like he created his own website,
Yeah.
which means he asked like direct consumer. He said
Yeah.
$200 for his special.
Yeah.
And people can see it.
Of course you
Why
can
not
do that.
that a choice?
Of course you can do that. You can do that. But how? So first of all, OTTs are again, they are very limited. We watch Netflix and we realize that Netflix has a lot of films. Okay. Now look at it from the producer point of view. The producer has only Netflix, Prime, Hotstar, Sony Live, Z5,
Vote.
maybe Vote. Yeah. So you have what, 7, 8 options, 10 options, right? These are the big options that you have. So these people, some or the other has to say that yes, I'll take your film and then pay you decent money for that. Suppose your film is made for say 2 crores and they are offering you 50 lakhs. Would you sell the film to them?
Of course not. At
And
least break even though possible.
So if you're not making money, if you're not making profits, at least you would want to break even. So what do you do then? If these people are saying no to you, and these people will say no to you because they also have a policy, they have a limited budget, they have bosses to answer to. So what has happened is, frankly speaking, things have improved. 10 years ago, things were worse as far as distribution is concerned. Now with OTTs, things have improved. But it is still not easy. Making a film is easier. Making a film is still easier. So ultimately, the statement remains true that making a film is easier than making a film is not easy. The statement is making a film is easier than taking it to the audience. And your personal website thing and all that, you know, there are again basic logical problems. Like if I did it, I have 1800 1900 followers on Twitter. That's it.
Well, you are just not you. You have a good force. You have AIB.
Yeah, but and we are doing that. But what if you make a film? What if I make a film without AIB?
Yeah,
Then what if I do? How many AIBs do we have in this country, and how many films can they produce? You know,
it's very tough.
And the other problem is that even if AIB does it, even if AIB puts it on a website, you know that it is very easy to download the film and then so it's very, very, very tricky.
Tough. So now do you have something? लग रहा है कितने टाइम में आएगा चिंटू बाहर?
आ जाएगा. बात हो रही है. हाँ.
What now? Of course, this COVID thing. What do you think will happen now? Of course, no one knows what will happen. But what do you think? अभी होगा क्या? अभी movies क्योंकि अभी recently अभी नया news आया कि it's not a pandemic, it's an endemic. It will be like AIDS.
Yeah, frankly, Keval, the reality of the social crisis is so overwhelming. My wife is a doctor, and I have studied medicine.
Hmm.
So, like right now, my wife is in coronavirus ward, and
Oh,
I'm
so she's saving people. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
she's
she
there.
is in. Okay.
Yeah, so she will be back in the evening, and then I'll get to know some more details. And those details of the grassroots are so overwhelming that I cannot think what will happen to movies, what will happen to us as a society, what will happen to us as a country, as an economy, as a culture, as human beings, how this will bring the worst side of us, bring out the worst side of us. These things are so, these questions are so overwhelming that I don't care what will happen to the movies.
Hmm.
Uh, things are really bad, and I'm a very optimistic person, and still I'm telling you things are really bad. Um, let's hope that, you know, the problem with any species, not just human beings, the problem with any species is that when that animal is cornered, that animal brings out the most angry and the most scared side of herself out.
Right.
You scare any animal, you push any animal to a corner, and you will see that the fear and the anger in that animal will take over. And human beings are as a species, we are always more angry and more scared than any other species. We are unnecessarily angry and scared. We get
Hmm.
scared when someone near us starts worshipping their faith. You know, we get scared for some
Hmm.
ridiculous thing. So i believe uh, I believe we are anyway a very angry and scared species. I don't know what will happen when we are pushed to a corner.
Right. It's well, all we can do is hope right now.
Yeah, I believe there should be more focus on training, uh, more focus on training writers, directors, actors, and there should be a value associated with training. Like it's very difficult for you to call yourself a film director in Europe if you have not studied filmmaking.
Oh,
Yeah. You can't just raise
okay.
your hand and say, I'm a film director. Have you studied filmmaking? Do you have a degree? I think it is important. I'm not talking about the degree, I'm talking about the training. I think it is important to create an ecosystem where we kind of look at training in performing arts the way we look at training in medicine or law or engineering. And what this will do is it will legitimize the study of cinema. So parents will be okay with the concept that their kids are studying cinema or
Hmm.
acting, right? So that will make cinema more accessible to the middle class, to the common man. The nepotism or the backdoor entry or the entitlement that a lot of uh, actors and creators in this city have, that will
Hmm.
change, because we'll have bona fide trained people who know the craft. Uh,
And who can work?
can work, yeah, but then there should also be it should be recognized. So if I have a trained director, I should feel like giving that director a chance rather than someone who has just said that, okay, I want to make films, and then also compensate the trained professional better. I think that will really improve the entire ecosystem, and we'll start respecting each other more. And overall, we'll be more intelligent. The IQ of the industry overall will improve if we have training. No, we'll have
Hmm.
the average IQ of the industry will improve. I
100%.
think since I'm an academic, and since I believe in studies, I think I don't know if this is the biggest change required. I don't know if this is the if it is the one change I feel that we should have, but this is one thing that is very close to me.
Yeah, but this can influence on the longer run, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, on that note, we'll end this Thank you so
Thank
much for doing this, sir. Also,
Thank you.
you want about your thing which you are doing, the
Yeah, and
COVID
also,
lectures?
yeah. So I'm conducting these lectures online um, every weekend until May 31. So I have
Hmm.
lectures on Friday evenings, Saturdays and Sundays, and we have a very interesting, exciting mix of lectures of all kinds. These lectures are generally 3 to 4 hours long, and they are independent of each other. So you can attend any lecture in any order.
Hmm.
You have to pay a minimum of 1,000 rupees per lecture, and the money doesn't come to me. You pay directly to an NGO of out of we provide you with a short list of about 20 NGOs, and you choose one NGO of your choice, and you pay 1,000 rupees as donation to that NGO, and then you come to attend our lectures. You can uh, visit the website. It is lectures.cinemestwins.com. I'll
Description
just,
में है ये.
yeah, lectures.cinemestwins.com. And uh, May 31 is the last day when when I finish this series of lectures. And the only reason why I'm doing this is to somehow contribute to the society. So far, we have raised close to 18 lakhs of rupees. Thanks
Wow.
to these lectures, and 18 lakhs is a huge sum. If you look at my bank statement, you'd know that I could have never done that. I could never have contributed 18 lakhs of rupees. So it's because of these lectures and students coming back again and again that we have managed to do this. So if you feel like contributing to the society, please make the donation, come for the lecture. Since I'm not making any money, even if I am the shittiest teacher, even if I'm the most terrible teacher that you have ever met, you can be happy that I am not making any rupee out of this endeavor. So please talk about it and come for the lectures.
Sure. Thank you so much for doing this, sir. Yeah.